And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? We are towards the end of August now, a whole month into the set, and we're at the end of the first month of rank play with Scholomance. I've enjoyed it. I'm ready for what's to come in September. How about you?
Me too. I tell you what, I'm loving everything about Scholomance so far. This is by far one of my favorite sets that has come out probably since Lich King. Uh, I really enjoyed that set as well. I'm having a blast with this set, playing quite a bit more than I normally would. Um, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the solo content and everything else we still have to come out of this expansion.
Yeah, possible new game mode.
That's right, possible new game mode.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit myself. THL started up. Uh, I won my Wild series via disqualification because my opponent didn't submit their decks, unfortunately. So I didn't get a chance to play week one in Wild, but the rest of my team is winning,
Uh huh.
and we've clinched the week. As for Legacy, the Pod people are doing good. I lost my match versus Rebobson, but I don't think I've ever beaten him, but I took a game off him this time. Usually he sweeps me,
Yeah.
so that's good. We're ahead right now because Wicked Good and our Hat both got their wins, so we're hoping to clinch it up. The rest of the matches are played today, so hopefully we can finish out the first week strong, going into a week two bye. So
Awesome.
other than that, Legacy, on Legacy, Standard. Uh, is kind of rough for me. I was sitting around the 3K to 2200 legend rank,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, let's just kind of play a little bit here, a little bit there, keep my rank solid. And then yesterday, I decided I'd try to do a little bit of pushing and drop down to 8K.
Yeah, that
So
that happens. That happens.
uh, I'm trying to push for 11x finish, but I don't think it's going to happen in standard because I think if I was still above 4K, maybe 5K, I probably could.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I'm seeing a lot of silly decks because people are pretty much phoning it in. They're not trying to push, so they're just playing really random combo decks that I'm not prepared for.
Okay.
So it's been difficult in standard. In wild, though, I got up to 1200. I don't think I'll get 11x. You kind of have to be in top 200 for there, but it's a nominal spot to be in wild because I'm seeing some people around 3 and 4K in wild, which first is amazing. There's that many people playing in wild and legend. Second, that tells me I got the chops to play in wild, which makes me feel good about myself because
Okay.
I wouldn't consider myself a wild player,
Yeah.
but I do play wild. And I'm going to try to push. I'm going to continue my push to try to get double legend every month, and then let 11x try to let 11x kind of happen organically because I don't know if pushing for it's the right thing for me to do. Uh, so it's again 11x it's just a goal of mine right now. It's not anything that a mark of a good player. It's just I see a lot of my friends getting 11x and I want to join that club. Um, but I have this later in the show notes. But since you brought it up, let's just jump
Well,
into the discussion topic.
before we do that, I want to throw a shout out. I
Okay.
actually got to meet up with former Coin Concede host Appa and
Yes.
badass woman of Hearthstone, Doctor Evil herself. They were in the area vacationing this week, and uh, just happenstance. Uh, Ran into Versika the morning I was supposed to go meet with them, and he went with me, and we went and had lunch with them, and it was great to see those two. And huge shout out to them. It
Yeah,
was awesome getting to hang out.
I'm definitely jealous. I wish I could have joined you guys. A lot of people think we live real close to each other, how often I'm over at your house, but I am a good hour and a half from you, so I was close to 2 hours from where they were.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I couldn't make it up because I had to work, and my wife and I share a car. So if I left, she wouldn't have a car, all that kind of stuff. We tried to schedule a meetup yesterday, but with weather and their travel, they weren't going right by me. So unfortunately, I didn't get to meet them. Of course, I've had the luxury of meeting Appa and Dr. Evil on 2 other occasions.
Yeah.
So at DreamHack in 2017, and then at BlizzCon in 2018. So it'd just be seeing old friends again. So
right.
It'd be nice to. My wife met him last time, but it was real brief because we're all at BlizzCon.
It was Dr. Evil's birthday, so once again, from all of us at Hero Power, happy birthday.
And you got her a birthday present from us.
I did. Took her a Hearthstone mug, and on behalf of all of us from Hero Power.
Totally us, including me. Yeah.
Yeah. She knew. So.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Okay, but let's go ahead and talk about, since we've touched base on it, the first month of Scholomance meta is done. What are our thoughts overall on the set? Obviously, we've had a couple balance changes throughout the time, which haven't been as heavy-handed as I thought they would be. But they've been very impactful. They were like needed changes that didn't adjust the meta too much. I mean, people are still playing Kel'Thas. People are still playing Alucia. But the meta seems balanced. Also, Libram Paladin was sitting at, which is the deck we're going to play today, was sitting at, like a 67% win rate on HS Replay. No changes to it whatsoever, and it's just kind of settled. It's still one of the top decks to play, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's easily countered.
Somebody, and I don't remember who, but somebody shared on Twitter this week a screenshot from HS Replay that showed 8 or 9 decks, all with a 50% or better win rate. And they were like, is this
against Libram Paladin?
Yeah, they were like, is this what a balanced meta looks like? And I mean, when you've got that many decks playing in a meta, I mean, that's a great thing. I mean, the more decks you're seeing, the better the variety. I think the better it is for the game.
Yeah, I've pulled it up right now, and actually Hunter is on the top with 54%, with Paladin at 53.9, Demon Hunters at 50.7, and Rogues at 50.4. So that's 4 out of 10 classes at 50% or higher. And then just below it is Druid at 49.6 and Warrior at 49. And then it kind of drops to Warlock at 47.5, and then Shaman being the lowest at 43.9. So I've seen some metas where the bottom class is sitting at like 37%. So obviously 43.9 isn't terrible. Mm-hmm. If you're, that's that kind of break point that if you're good with Shaman and good with the Shaman deck that's popular right now, you could bump that win rate over 50% without a problem. As we're going to talk about in the Grandmasters, the Tortola Mage is sitting at an abysmal like 38% win rate on HS Replay. Right. But if you're good at the deck, you can pilot it up to, finals of Grandmasters. So, which we've seen Eddie do for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Spoiler, 3 weeks, for this week. So I'm liking where this meta is. It's a very, very, in my opinion, it's a very, very skill-intensive meta. You can either play some of the best decks and do well with them, or you can play a tier 2 or even tier 3 deck that you're good and comfortable with and do really well with it. Right. And I think that might be where Libram Paladin is, because right now a lot of decks are beating Libram Paladin, but if you're good at piloting it, you can take it to a high win rate, like I have been recently. So it's I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just really happy with this meta because it makes me feel this is probably the meta I've performed the best in, and I'm not a globally skilled player. I don't play well with all 10 classes. I have a niche of decks that I'm really good with, and this meta fits me. I've heard some people complain that they don't like this meta, but it might just be the skill type of decks that you're playing. There aren't any decks that are just kind of like autopilot, just play on curve, play whatever's green, and you in most cases win the game. Rogue is probably the closest to that, but there's still some skill in when do you attack with that stealth minion? When do you not attack with that stealth minion? Do you want to hold the attack to have it buff next turn, or do you want to get the damage in now? So it's really, really, I'm just really happy with the game where it's at and where I think the growth is going to happen in September.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really, and like I said at the top of the show, I am just really, really enjoying this expansion so far.
You're playing Hearthstone.
I am,
and I don't mean that in a negative way because I mean obviously you play Hearthstone, you enjoy the game, but you tend to be like get in your
dailies, and then I move on. Yeah,
5 to 10 games a week. You get your dailies done, and you might not do your dailies every day. You do them like on every third day and knock all 3 dailies out, and then wait 3 more days and play again. Right. That's just kind of your.
And that's but a lot of it is my schedule. Yeah, my lifestyle. But no, I'm actively trying to find more time to get in more games because I'm really, really enjoying this set and this meta,
which is great. I'm getting to the okay. Just a little bit of spoilers on or behind the scenes. Looking at my deck tracker, I am sitting at a global, and again I play wild and standard, and this is for all my games. A global 57% win rate. Had a whopping 456 wins and 409 losses for the month of August.
Wow.
I play a lot of Hearthstone regularly, but I'm pushing 1,000 games and might even hit it by the time the month ends.
Wow.
And we've got 2 days left because I tend to push really hard on Sundays and Mondays, especially with us doing the show early. I'll have more time today. So I'm already at over 900, over 850 games. I'm close to 1,000 games. This is probably the most I've played in a month ever.
Wow.
And I play a lot of Hearthstone as it is.
Yeah. That actually came up in our Discord this week.
Somebody in our Discord, because I was mentioning,
I think it was Howard the Dave.
My games and stuff. Howard the Dave says, "Well, how much have you played this? How many games have you played?" Just kind of. I think he was looking for like how many wins on my little achievement, which I'm at over 16,000 wins.
That's and over 9,000.
I gave him. Oh, that was good. I gave him my global stats for the month, and he was just like, "Wow, you play a lot of Hearthstone." Yeah, and part of it is like because I play in 2 league format series, and I also do stuff for the show. I have to play a wide variety of decks, so I usually end up getting 450 games in most months anyways, just because I'm a content creator. You know, I have to be familiar with lots of decks. We play a different deck every week on the show.
Right.
I have to bring a different four class series lineup every week and spin it up so I don't become predictable. So that's expected, but I'm almost to 900 games played this month. That's a lot even for me, and that tells me Scholomance was a success, and I hope they build on it with everything else we have going on this year with the new sets and the new game modes. I'm getting to a point now where I get on tilt, and I'm like, I have to stop playing Hearthstone for a little bit so I get off this tilt. So what do? I play Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
So I'm still playing Hearthstone when I'm tired of playing Hearthstone.
Shifting to a different game mode, which could be awesome if we get even another game mode where you can, if you're on tilt, you don't have to play ladder. You can go play Battlegrounds. If you're not having fun in Battlegrounds, go play the new game mode.
And I've played quite a bit of Battlegrounds this month, and I've even played about 5 runs of Arena. And those stats that I just read to you aren't even included in the Battlegrounds and Arena stats. So Yeah, I play a lot of this game, and I kind of attribute that to the success of this set.
Yeah,
I'm just happy right now.
yeah.
And speaking of people that are not going to be playing Hearthstone, kind of shifting a little bit, we got a tweet
Yeah, so
from,
I was just scrolling through Twitter as
yeah,
I am wont to do, and I come across a tweet from ETC, the Grandmaster ETC. And it basically it says, "This is in clarification of my last tweet," which I didn't see his last tweet.
no, I
He,
didn't either.
he said, "Somebody asked me why I said they're going to need to bring in 4 new Grandmasters." He says, "It's because this season is going to be my last season in Grandmasters. No matter if I will get relegated, he's recently started his own construction company. So, congratulations, ETC, on that. That's a huge accomplishment."
Yeah.
But I love the fact that he says, "Gonna have to bring in 4 Grandmasters," because that means he's not going to just accept it and, like, this is it, I'm done, I'm not going to try. He's going to actively try to win the season, which means 3 players are going to get relegated, and then he'll retire.
Yeah, so I've kind of criticized ETC in the past because he is a family man. Hearthstone is not his primary source of income. For a lot of these other players, either grandmasters or content creation for Hearthstone is their primary source of income. He's not a streamer. He doesn't really create any content for Hearthstone. He just is good at it. He got into Grandmasters because of his ladder finishes. He wasn't a tournament grinder. He didn't enter most tournaments. He just finished top of the ladder every single month just from playing. And so I kind of criticized whether he would be good in Grandmasters, and he's always been kind of in the talk of relegation every season. But he's been there since the beginning. This is his 4th season, and he's currently towards the bottom of relegation talks. But he actually is stepping up his game, and he did well this week, as we'll talk about in the next spot. And I gotta say, he's proven me wrong a few times, and I will honestly miss seeing him because he kind of represents that older, responsible age. I think he's the oldest member of the GMs, because I know he's at least in his mid-30s. He's got at least 1 kid, if not 2. I can't remember. I know he has children, so it's just nice to see that representation in GM, and it'll be missed. Because I will miss him, because I've always looked forward to seeing what he would do, because he's kind of cut from a different cloth than the other GM players who all have gotten there from their tournament victories.
Right.
And he just never really entered any of the HTC HCT tournaments or the Master Tour. He just never did it.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about Grandmasters. So as we mentioned last week, this is week 3 of the Swiss rounds, which means they are playing specialist format this week. So in the APAC, our top 8 saw Rivius, Tom60229, Chiansu, Glory, Alan Numbers, Blitzchung, and Bank Yugi, and Dawn. So, as I was telling you before the show, I've had a really busy weekend, and I've not had a chance to watch any of this. But I'm guessing you maybe got to watch a few of the matches, Zerotio?
I watched a little bit yesterday, and I watched some today. I was worried we'd see lots of mirror matches, which was not the case. Of this top 8, we had 5 different classes represented. We had Rogue, Warlock, Druid, Priest, and Mage all represented, which kind of across the board, we didn't see, I don't think, in all regions, we didn't see any Shaman, we didn't see any Warrior, we didn't see any Paladin, and no Demon Hunter. I think that's it. But it's a wider variety of classes than I expected. I expected maybe a pool of 3, and that's about it, and a lot of mirror matches. But then we went into the semifinals and Blitzchung, which I'm all about Blitzchung stepping up. He's been stepping up his game ever since the controversy with him being suspended. Blitz, and he could easily just been like, I'm done with Hearthstone. I'm done with this company, and he didn't. He's powering through it, and I'm really proud of that. Blitzchung playing Mage defeated Chansu on Rogue 2-0, which you're going to hear a lot of 2-0s, which is kind of, that's my only criticism about this weekend, is there were a lot of 2-0 sweeps. It didn't seem like the sideboard decks, the secondary and tertiary decks even mattered much. And it was boring because once you saw the first game, you can almost assume who was going to end up winning it. And even in the case of the 2-1 victories, usually the person who won the first game ended up winning the whole series. Then you had Dawn defeating Glory, Dawn on Rogue, defeating Glory on Druid 2-0. But I got to point out that Ben Yugi's in the top 8 again. And he didn't make it to the top 4, but this is his first season, and he's really doing well. And I didn't look at all the Division A and Division B brackets yet because they're not completely solidified, but we'll talk about that most likely next week. And then the finals was Dawn on Rogue versus Blitzchung on Mage with a 2-1 victory for Dawn. Dawn, again, is kind of been there in the APAC region. Him and Surrender kind of filling in the two top players, in my opinion. And Blitzchung making it to this finals is good. I think this is his second top 8. So he should be good in divisions. I didn't look at APAC's division breakup yet. But we're seeing some good competition in APAC. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then over in, so moving on to EU.
Mm-hmm.
Our top 8 in EU saw Silvername on Priest, Toss on Druid, Seiko on Priest, Yarla on Mage, Boar Control on Priest, Casey on Druid, Warma on Priest, and Viper on Warlock in the top 8. So again, here you had 4 different classes represented in the top 8.
And Warlock kind of being the outlier. He brought a zoo list, and I think Viper has a time machine. And he saw what everybody was going to bring. If anybody was the winner this weekend, aside from Eddie, who plays, that's a whole nother reason. We'll talk about in Americas when we get there. Viper really read the meta, and he saw Priest, Druid, and Mage being kind of the standouts in the practice groups for EU, and was like, what beats those? It's Warlock. And he ended up defeating Tice's Druid 2-0 in the semifinals, while Seiko defeated Seiko's Priest defeated Casey's Druid 2-1. So Druid did well, but he kind of fell off. It kind of fell off at the end, putting Viper on Warlock versus Seiko and the Priest. And this is a matchup that slightly favors the Priest on paper. And Viper figured it out because that's what Viper does. And he 2-1s Seiko in the finals. So it's really nice. This is probably the silver lining of the specialist format. You do see somebody that goes outside the box,
right,
be successful. And in the EU region, that was Viper this week, where we didn't see so much out of the box thinking in APAC, where it was just a lot of thinking. I mean, we have 5 different classes over there, so it was hard to see who was actually out of the box. But obviously in EU, it was Viper. And then, of course, in the Americas, spoiler, the person thinking out of the box was definitely Eddie, bringing the Tortola Mage. But let's talk about Americas.
Yeah, let's do that. So
that's where the excitement was.
All right, so recap real quick. APAC finals was Rogue versus Mage. EU finals was Warlock versus Priest.
No mirror matches.
No mirror matches. That's 4 classes. All right, moving on to Americas. Top 8 we had Killing All Day, finally getting into a top 8, playing Mage.
He needed it because at this point, he was the very top of Division B.
Yes.
So he needed at this point in the tournament, he needed a semifinals berth to make it into Division A.
Yeah. And then we had Muzzy on Priest. We had ETC on Druid.
Showing us that he is not going down without a fight.
That's right. No Hands Gamer on Priest. Eddie on Mage. Monsanto on Priest. Bloody Face on Priest. And Just Saying on Druid. So in the Americas top 8, we only had 3 different classes represented in Priest, Druid, and Mage. So
kind of, and this is what I expected in the specialists, is to have maybe 3 classes and that's it. However, our top 4 saw 2 mages, a priest. That's what No Hands Gamer was playing, was priest.
Okay.
Yeah. And a druid.
Yeah.
So technically we're seeing 3 classes, but actually we're seeing 4 different decks. So we had Killing All Day on his Tempo Mage, Just Saying on the Druid, and Killing All Day took that series 2-0. Mm-hmm. And then Eddie, who was playing the Tortolan Mage, which is significantly different than Tempo Mage, defeats No Hands Gamer on his Priest.
Right.
2-1. That was a very, very close series. And actually, it brings up a discussion because No Hands Gamer would have won that series, in my opinion, if he had full use of his hands. There was a very tricky play that involved playing. He had gotten a hand from his Elucia that allowed him to play his Kronks, that allowed him to Potion of Illusion his Kronks and other minions to then play 1-cost Kronks, but he didn't have the board space, so he had to play them, fill his board up, attack in with the minion that he could, which would set off the Flames secret for Mage, which would clear his board except for 1 minion, giving the board space he needed to play the additional 2 Kronkses, which were activated to be able to get lethal. And he just couldn't go fast enough.
Okay.
So again,
so it was an APM. It was an APM play, and he just.
Well, I mean, it was kind of was an APM play because we don't know if he had the read that the trap was the trap that it was, the secret was the secret that it was, or because if he had the secret wrong, then he wouldn't have done it. So it was a combination of APM and secret reading and hand reading. So unfortunately, because the secret was generated, so there's no way for him to know it was in the deck.
Right.
So there was some kind of possible argument that it wasn't his APM that restricted it. It was his train of thought and being able to think fast enough. Mm-hmm. But once you are able to think fast enough, then you have to get the actions in. And you can see him frantically moving his head, trying to get the actions in. And he throws his hands up because he didn't get the last 2 Kronks off.
Right.
And if he would have gotten those last 2 Kronks off, we would have seen him in the finals versus Killing All Day. But no, we saw Killing All Day versus Eddie. And I was watching the first game, and it was going down to the wire.
Yeah,
yeah. And then that's when I closed everything down to get ready for the show.
So Eddie won game 1 against Killing All Day.
It looked like that's the way it was going to
go. Obviously with specialist format, everybody starts with their primary deck. So Killing All Day's primary versus Eddie's primary. Eddie got the win in game 1. And then in game 2, Killing All Day switched to his secondary deck, which gave him an edge over Eddie's primary version of Tortolan, and Killing All Day won game 2.
Wow.
So going into game 3, everybody stayed on those decks. Killing All Day said, okay, I just beat him with my secondary. I'm going to stay on my secondary. Eddie believed in his primary and stayed on his primary all 3 games of the match.
Well, neither. See, Eddie had played against Language Checker, who also brought Tortola Mage and wasn't as successful.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, not Eddie. Killing All Day faced Language Checker, who brought Tortola Mage and was able to beat him. So obviously, Killing All Day had a line of thinking that could take him
So
to a victory.
The 2 cards in Killing All Day's secondary deck that were different from his primary were Boom Pistol Bully and Archmage Antonidas.
Yeah, because the Archmage Antonidas, along with the apprentices and cheap spells, can give you the burn to go over top.
Which is what happened in Game 2. Now, in Game 3, like I said, they stayed on those same decks, and Eddie was just able to power through and clinch the win in the finals. Eddie beat Killing All Day 2-1 in the Mage Mirror.
That's the type of excitement I want to see in Specialist, and it was still a mirror match.
Yeah.
I am excited that they put Specialist in the rotation. I will say, of the 3 weeks, this was the less exciting to watch. And also, it was 3-game series, best of 3 instead of best of 5, which was better for flow of watching it.
Oh, it certainly made it finish a lot faster, because we're recording this currently at 2:45 Eastern time, and this match wasn't even scheduled to start until 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and last week they didn't get done till what, 8 o'clock almost, or 7:30 or something like that. Yeah. So it was definitely different. I'm glad they're doing this. The other format was real. I liked it because it was different, but at the same time, you're watching the 4 worst decks against the other 4 worst decks in the meta.
Yeah,
and that's not. You want to watch the best decks play. Sure, it's seeing different decks, and you're seeing tier 2 and tier 3 decks in tournaments, but a lot of times they just aren't fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's who is playing the best of the worst, and that's not the Hearthstone I want to watch.
So with this finals, Killing All Day qualifies for Division A, correct?
Yes. So of the top 4, Just Saying, Eddie, and No Hands Gamer pretty much had clinched the Division A berth. No Hands Gamer getting into the top 8 had enough points. Getting into the finals, the top 4 had enough points in tiebreakers to basically win any tiebreaker. He was sitting at 2nd in tiebreakers for everybody with 9 points, so he was good there. Of everybody who was tied in Division A, the last place was going to be Frozen. And the way the tiebreakers are is if you're tied in points, it's whoever finished the highest in one of the weeks. And if Killing All Day made it to the semifinals, he would go from 8 points to 9 points, and thus being tied with the other 4 competitors. But since he got a semifinals berth, that meant Frozen would go into Division B.
Okay.
So because, and it's a real complicated sounding, but because Killing All Day made semifinals, he goes into the bottom slot of Division A.
And bumps Frozen to the top of Division B.
Frozen goes to the top of Division B, which is still a safe place to be.
Right.
So, Frozen isn't at immediate risk of being relegated. But Eddie is sitting on the top of Division A because for 3 weeks in a row now, he's made it into the at least top 4.
Yeah, he has piloted that Tortolan Mage very well for the last 3 weeks.
This is his 2nd win.
Yeah.
And he's brought Tortolan Mage every week, which you could say in Last Hero Standing and Conquest that you can limp across with a weak deck. In Specialist, you can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
So while Tortolan Mage, we had somebody in our Discord request us to play Tortolan Mage this week, And I have played close to 50 games or just over 50 games with it, and I'm not good enough with it right yet. I want to practice it. We might put it on the docket for one of the shows in the next couple weeks, once I get a little more practice with it. But honestly, I don't think the deck is exceptionally good. I just believe that Eddie plays Tortola Mage exceptionally well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is where the strength of the deck doesn't match the strength of the player, and the strength of the player proves that this is a game of skill, not just a game of random luck. Because that deck can definitely fall flat if it draws both of the illusions early.
Yes. Yeah, it
Um,
can.
but and TJ brought this up on stream today. Eddie has done that a lot and still won multiple times throughout the Swiss rounds, as well as even in the top 8. He's drawn both Potion Illusion, and then he turns it into a tempo game and still finds a way to win. So Eddie it personifies that this game is not just about random luck and RNG, that you can be very skilled at it, which we always said that with Hunter Race specifically.
That's true.
But I think Eddie is. I have had the luxury of playing against Eddie in THL, and I knew he was good then, but he is miles better than he was when I played him a couple years ago in THL. So the improvement he's made through the Grandmasters is just mind blowing and
Yeah.
amazing. And I wish him luck. I would love to see him qualify for that second spot for Americas for the World Championship alongside Bloodyface. Obviously, my heart roots for Language Hacker and No Hands Gamer, but Eddie would definitely meet the qualifications and do the role justice.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how he does.
All right. Moving on to this week's Tavern Brawl. It was top 3, which is always, for me, has always been a fun Tavern Brawl. Let's mix it up a bit, shall we? Pick 3 cards, and we'll make you a deck with 10 copies of each card. So, Zerotio, how'd you do with this Tavern Brawl this week?
So I played it and I won. I went with Librams, Libram Wisdom, Attendant, and I can't remember the third card. I think it was Libram of Hope. Just to get lots of Librams out quickly, and I won my first game pretty fast. And then I was like, oh, I have to play 3 games as Paladin, so I'll play 2 more. And I got matched up against a Druid that did Embiggen, Patches,
Mark of the Lotus.
Mark of the Lotus. That's it.
Yeah.
Embiggen, Patches, Mark, and I was like, wow. Turn 1, their board's filled with big minions.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. So I played 2 games, played against Druid both times. I lost. But one thing I realized is this is great for quests. I have I got a rolled a quest today, and it was play 3 Tavern Brawls. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Even if I lose, I'm going to lose like real fast. I don't concede, because if you concede, you don't get credit for the quest.
Right.
Because it happens so fast. So I just let them beat me, and I'm excited to get those quests done after the show today. The one thing I love about this is it's just fast.
Right. Yeah.
Because you can put weird, crazy combos.
Yeah.
You can just right out the gate, just
so
beat your opponent or lose to your opponent.
Yeah. So the deck that I kept running up against was Rogue playing Pogo Hopper, Secret Passage, Shadow Step.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Pogo Hopper, Secret Passage, Shadow Step.
Yeah. So I was looking for something that could beat that. Oh my goodness. So I was looking for something that could beat that. And our good friend Vastidius over at Legend of the Innkeeper shared on their patron Discord a great little 3-card combo from Shaman, which was Lightning Bloom, Ancient Knowledge, Snow Fury Giant.
Oh my goodness.
So you Lightning Bloom, draw 2, then play Ancestral Knowledge, draw 2 cards. Lightning Bloom, Ancestral Knowledge, draw 2 cards. Lightning Bloom, Ancestral Knowledge, draw 2 cards. And then turn one, drop 4 or 5 Snow Fury Giants for free.
Okay, well, I know the 2 decks that I'm going to try to finish my quest with, because those sound super exciting. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I managed to get my very first game. I managed to get it to go off on turn 3. I had 5 8/8 Snow Fury Giants. My opponent had a 7/7 Pogo Hopper, a 5/5 Pogo Hopper, a 3/3 Pogo Hopper, and a 1/1 Pogo Hopper. Needless to say, I won that one heartily.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I love Tavern Brawls that are fun like this and don't take a lot of time.
Yes.
The ones that like are creative, but then you got to build things up, or you basically stall your opponents out. Those just aren't fun because you can't knock them out real fast.
Yeah.
And Tavern Brawl is not something I want to spend 2 or 3 hours just playing Tavern Brawl.
Yeah. So all right, that takes care of the news this week. Let's jump right into our deck list of the week, because as you saw in the show title, it's finally Paladin.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me, when am I going to play Paladin? Because I'm historically known as a Paladin main. And we haven't played Paladin on the show yet. And Libram Paladin has been good. Yeah. And my thoughts were that Libram Paladin was very good. And obviously we could play it early and possibly do well with it. But I wanted the meta to settle a little bit to see if Libram Paladin was still good. And possibly any nerfs that might affect Libram Paladin, which so far hasn't happened, despite it being one of the top win rates on HS Replay. So obviously, internally, Blizzard doesn't see that it's too bad. So obviously, they don't feel any reason to nerf it. So I thought now is probably a safe time to play it, because there are a lot of counters, and it is rather difficult to win with Paladin right now. So we are going to play my version, or one of my versions,
which is a pure Paladin.
Well, I do have 6 different versions of Pure Paladin, but this is the one that's had the best results.
Yeah, because we do need to specify right now. This is Zerotio's best, but it's by far not the most popular version of this deck that you're going to find online, because a lot of your high-level Legend pros are running a version called Libram, which has the new, what's it called? What broom?
Animated broomstick.
Animated broomstick. That's it.
It's not a pure version of the deck.
Correct.
Or as some like to call it, a pally. That's all running all Paladin cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. Let's take a look at this deck list, and then I will turn it over to Zerotio to kind of walk us through it, and then we'll play some games. So the deck is 2 copies of First Day of School, 2 Aldor Attendant, 2 Argent Braggart, which has been claimed to be one of the better cards in this set, 2 Hand of Adal, 2 Libram of Wisdom. Then you've got McGurgle, and you got 2 Goody 2 Shields, 2 Consecrations, High Abbess Allura, 2 Lightforged Zealot, 2 Aldor Truthseeker, 2 Blessing of Authority, 2 Libram of Justice, 2 Devout Pupil, Lady Liadrin. You got 1 copy of Lightforged Crusader, and 2 Libram of Hope. So there's only 3 legendaries in this deck, so it's relatively affordable.
Yeah, and honestly, if you don't have McGurgle, you can just run Shotbots. They kind of fit the same role, and some players will tell you that Shotbot is better than McGurgle. My data shows different. But I know Ridiculous Hat over the Coin Concede podcast says that ShopBot is just miles better results per his results and HS Replays data and Vicious Syndicates data than Murger McGurgle. I like Murger McGurgle because in this situation where you do have to go late game, you can get another big board that your opponent might not be able to clear with McGurgle Prime summoning for Murlocs. And since there's a Murloc that has Rush now, it really can help you with that late game sustain if you need it to. Now, I have 6 different versions of Pure Paladin. This one by far is the best results wise. I did find that there were times that Lightforged Crusader just felt lackluster. She didn't give me tools I needed, and I needed more healing. And that's mainly when Demon Hunter and Rogue is very, very strong. So I do have a version that I swapped out the Lightforged Crusader for a Lightforged Blessing, which is the 2-mana spell that gives a minion that has Twin Spell and gives a minion Lifesteal. And putting that on one of the 8/8s with Taunt and Divine Shield can help you sustain. But if there's a lot of spot removal, which there is right now, this version is better. So if you are having trouble keeping that sustain, you can swap out the Lightforged Crusader for a Lightforged Blessing, and I have found that works well. I'm currently 98 and 75 with Pure Paladin through all my versions. This version is sitting, and that's a 57% win rate. This version is sitting at 41 and 19, which is a 68% win rate, which is why I wanted to bring it on the show today. This is very similar to a lot of other lists, except some lists will cut the consecrations and put in Blessing of Kings because they don't want to cast consecration off the High Abbess Allura. But sometimes casting consecration on High Abbess Allura is how I win games. If I can play High Abbess Allura and then play a Libram of Justice to activate her spell burst, and she immediately casts consecration, that's a board clear. So, and I personally don't like playing Paladin without consecration because there's so much board pressure decks that consecration just can win you games sometimes. So that's my reason for putting consecration in over Blessing of Kings, which I think Blessing of Kings is just an outdated card and shouldn't be in most Paladin lists right now. That's just my opinion. One of the main reasons is Lady Liadrin will give you Blessing of Kings again, and that's a 4-mana spell that could be a 0-mana Libram of Wisdom, or it could be a 3-mana or 4-mana Libram of Hope. It might take that slot away from those more progressive spells. You don't want to pull a King's back into your hand from Liadrin. It just feels bad.
Right. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you do enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. There you can get access to our patron-only Discord for as little as $1 a month. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power to summon the Silverhand Recruit and cast Blessing of Authority on it. Oh yeah.
Alrighty.
I have totally forgot to open up my client. Hold on, I'm getting into Hearthstone right now.
Okay.
I was so excited to talk about Paladin that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to launch my client while he was going over the
play now.
Usually when you're reading the deck list, I'll actually bring up Hearthstone in the background. It's kind of my flow. While you're doing something, I do something else. But I was so like keyed into you reading the cards that I was just like, okay, say this about this card. Say this about this card. I forgot to bring up my client.
That's funny. All right.
And I got I've turned spectate on because I had it off for my match, which makes a lot of sense. Somebody sent me a message yesterday like, "Hey, can I spectate you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "I can't spectate you," and so I invited him. Didn't think to turn my spectate back on.
Yeah. All right, so I'm showing you at $14.99 in Wild.
Yes, yeah. I was at like 1,200 in Wild, but decay happens.
Decay happens, yeah.
I'm currently at 8718 in the standard legend rank.
Standard, okay.
And I'm queuing up now. I wish you could see both rankings. Maybe like hover over them and it would pop up the other one. It only shows your highest.
Right.
And I'm not a wild player, but if I get wild legend, it's usually going to be higher than my standard legend.
Right. That makes sense.
Because there's usually less wild players in legend.
Alrighty. So
Demon Hunter. I actually have with this version of the deck, I am 3-0 versus Demon Hunter.
So what are we looking for in our mulligans with this?
So against Demon Hunter, the first day of school is always good. I usually keep Goody Two Shoes in every matchup because on three it's something. Goody Two Shields. That's right. I always call her Goody Two Shoes because that's what it sounds like. So I'm looking for first day of school, Goody Two Shields in every matchup. Aldor Attendants I always keep. And then from then, against Demon Hunter, I want to get the Consecration. Mm-hmm. And if I have the coin, I'll hang on to Hayabes Allura. Because if I don't draw the Consecrations, she might get me the Consecration.
Okay. All right.
So in this hand, I'm just going to keep the Goody Two Shields. There's a Consecration. There's first day of school. So we're golden.
Wow. Literally.
Yeah. Second
Consecration off the top.
In a lot of matchups, I won't play the first day of school on turn 1 because I want to hold it possibly for a Hayabes Allura. But you need to get board pressure for your Demon Hunters to deal with. So I will play it now to see if I got anything I can play on turn 1. Shimmerfly is not bad. I think I'm just going to toss it out.
Okay.
The Ra is just going to be a 1-mana 1/1.
Right.
So it's basically a 1-mana hero power.
There's a Spirit Jailer.
So this is the soul version of Demon Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to push as hard.
So what do you think about Hand of Adal and just clearing that?
Hand of Adal, anytime I can play Hand of Adal on a minion, I'm going to. And right into a second Goody Two Shields. This is great.
Oh, yeah.
So right now we have a 3/2 on the board that's going to give us another resource. They probably have to deal with that this turn. And then I can play Goody Two Shields next turn. Neither they...
There's a Soul Shear.
There's a resource they would have used against Goody Two Shields.
Yep.
Because they could have hero powered and then soul sheared. Hunter's Mark is not terrible.
No, it's not.
Actually can be useful along with Consecration.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. If he plays something big, we can just combo it down.
So this turn, it looks like it's going to be a Goody Two Shields. And if they can't deal with it, we can have the option of popping our own shield and then consecrating for whatever other board they might have if they develop. I expect we'll probably get some kind of removal here. Though a Soul Shear is out of their deck, which is good. I don't pressure a lot of face early because I hope they hit their Soul Fragments for no value.
Oh, there we go. Using
second
face,
Soul Shear?
Using
Second
face
Soul Shear.
And the second Soul Shear. I like it.
This lines up for Goody Two Shields again.
Yep.
This is great. Our curve is awesome right now. So we just play the Ra, the Mogu Cultist because use all of our mana. Second Goody Two Shields. So next turn is going to be Elder Truth Seeker. One thing you have to worry about against this deck is they have the combo of playing Magtheridon and then clearing the minions, thus clearing all minions, and then having a 12/12. So we need to consciously think of how do we deal with a 12/12 at any point in the game.
Hunter's Mark Consecrate.
Hunter's Mark Consecrate. Okay, so the Saturn Mystic is how he clears the minions with his Magtheridon.
Mm-hmm.
This tells me he doesn't have Magtheridon, because if I was playing him, I would have played Magtheridon that turn and just dealt with the damage to play the Shard Shatter the following turn.
Right.
So now he's used one of his Mystics, so that's good for us. I'm just going to play the Aldor Truthseeker.
Okay.
And now we have Lightforged Crusader in our hand, so we kind of have to be mindful of our hand size, because we want to keep it down to 5 so that we have room for the cards that Lightforged Crusader gives us. 2 Soul Fragments, that's awesome, because we want those Soul Fragments to get eaten up.
There's Polkelt.
Polkelt. That's going to put the 7 mana minion that summons the 3/3s, and he'll get 3 3/3s. So we really want to draw Libram of Justice soon. Libram of Hope isn't bad.
No.
So if I play Argent Braggart now, he'll summon 3 of the 3/3s with Brush. 2 of them will go into the Argent Braggart. 1 will probably hit the hero power that I'm going to play.
Okay.
Allowing Polkelt to go face, and he'll have a 5/5 and a 3/2. Okay, so I think we play the Argent Braggart now because we want something for those rushes to run into. Well, it's 7 mana. He'll have to use the coin too, which he can do. Unless he has it in hand, and then that means he'll draw the Skull of Gul'dan. So yeah, we play the Argent Braggart hero power. And what you hear me doing, I'm vocalizing 2-3 turns ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of what you have to do in this matchup specifically, but with Paladin, period. You have to think, what do I do in 2 or 3 turns if this doesn't... Yeah, say there's a Sociologist Militia. 2 of the 3/3s into the 4/2, 1 into the 1/1, just like I said. So what we can do here is we can Hunter's Mark the 5/5 and then Consecrate. That'll only leave Polkelt up as a 4th.
Yeah.
But I'm still worried about Magtheridon. So I think the problem with playing Lightforged Crusader is it fills my hand completely.
Yeah, what about... I mean, is a Libram of Hope here not good?
I think it would be good because he'd have to do a lot to clear it out. Maybe the Magtheridon play, which would be great for us. So I think you're right. I think the Libram of Hope is probably the best play. We don't get the full value off the heel, but we might not need it. He doesn't have spot removal. He might have silence. He hasn't generated any random spells, so he wouldn't have gotten them that way. And this main deck, the Skull of Gul'dan, okay.
At full cost.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's full. But he cast it as
as an outcast. So he only has 1 mana left.
Cards he drew is not full cost.
So there he got Marrow Slosser.
Yeah. Now he just shuffled 2 souls into his deck, which means his deck is now shuffled. So Polkelt's reorganization is gone. That's something to note.
Yeah.
Normally his next card, well, he would have drawn his other. So he has the other Skull of Gul'dan. I think we Lightforge that and then Consecrate. I don't want to use the Hunter's Mark yet.
Right, we want to save that for Magtheridon.
And that will prompt him to hit the Lightforge Zealot probably with his face.
Mm-hmm.
Since we have 2 Consecrates in hand, I'm going to play the far left one. To make him think, I've held it for a while. Was waiting for the right moment. Because, see, now that his deck was shuffled, he drew a fragment.
Yeah.
Again, we want to see those fragments get eaten up because he has that 1 minion that will give him +5 for eating fragments. Soul Fragment. So this card that he draws here is not reduced. That's reduced. and that one's reduced. So the first one is not reduced. So he's going to pressure face now. Ooh. Well, he didn't have enough damage, so that's fine. So I think we need to Libram of Hope here.
Yeah.
The question is, can we afford to hit that with our face? So we're going to Libram of Hope every time. Now, if we hit that with our face, we will be down to 16.
And he just hit us for 11 after refilling his hand, so...
He's got to get through...
Yeah, he's got to get through the 8/8.
Which he can with Kane.
That's true.
So we might need to just Hunter's Mark that and then hit it with the Zealot. What do you think?
I think it definitely needs to be removed one way or another, yeah.
Well, let's Hunter's Mark it, hit it with the Zealot. And then I'm going to swing his face so I get that 2 healing.
Right, put us back to 21.
If he canes and he plays a second Lapidary, he can do a lot of damage to us. I like that he hit a Soul Shard there. A Soul Fragment.
Yeah, so he only has 2 left in his deck currently.
Yeah. Oh, he developed that. His hand's getting real full. Didn't hit any of the fragments. I want to call them Soul Shards because that's what they were in.
Yeah. So he's got 7 cards left in his deck.
So we can Hero Power, Blessing of Authority, the Dude, and Devout Pupil. And that's really going to set us up with a good board.
Okay.
Or we can go ahead and just play the Lightforged Crusader and possibly get us tools to sustain later. He didn't have a way to deal with the Guardian, and I don't think he has another way to deal with it now.
I think we Lightforged Crusader and Devout Pupil.
We could do that. Let's Lightforge first to see if we get anything that can reduce the pupil even more. Oh, Subdue, so good. So we can't play any of these and reduce the pupil. So let's just play the pupil and go face.
I like it.
So both of these minions have Divine Shield. And the reason he didn't attack into it last time is because he won't get his lifesteal.
Right.
Because he won't do any damage to the minion. So now if he Lapidaries and clears this 8/8, he'll at least gain back the health that he lost.
So the Spirit Jailer puts him up to 4 soul fragments.
There's a Lapidary. He's going to clear the 8/8 with his face. He'll have to Hero Power, though. And we got a Judicious Junior, which might actually be relevant. Okay, so the Magtheridon activator's gone.
Correct.
Other than he does have a spell that'll use his attack, but it's not whole board. It's only 3 minions, so he's not guaranteed to hit. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Huge swing. It doesn't kill us.
No.
So we can consecrate this, but how do we stay alive? Oh, Devout Pupil.
Yeah, that's one way.
His Righteousness. The tip of the scales is pretty much dead. So we have to consecrate this.
Yeah.
So let's consecrate. Devout Pupil, and then Hand of Adult on the Devout Pupil.
I think so.
And see, this is where I would love to have... Oh, there's the Libram of Justice. That can be good. Of course, we have the Subdue. So he's used both of his Lapidaries. So his big burst of damage is pretty much gone. We need to get... we really want to see a Lady of the Adrian so we can get some more healing.
Well, there's Magtheridon.
There's Magtheridon. Okay. So he doesn't have a definite way to clear these 1/3s. He can use the Blade Dance, but it's not guaranteed to hit all 3 of them. It didn't. That's good. Twin Slice. Is he going to gun this down? Yeah, he is.
So, what about Blessing of Authority on the Hellfire Warden? What about double Blessing of Authority on the Hellfire Warden?
Well, what about Blessing of Authority followed by Righteousness?
Okay, yeah.
It'll give it Divine Shield, which is just as good, if not better, than a second Blessing of Authority.
Okay.
So we want to hit face first, because we won't be able to hit face if we cast Blessing of Authority on it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the Judicious Junior out, just so we have a threat of lifesteal.
Right.
I don't see a good way to do it.
He's burned a lot of his weapon buff clearing. So
yeah.
Do we think he still has 7 damage in his hand?
Well, let's see. He twin sliced and wait, has he cast any of it? Yeah. He cast both second slices.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just attack first. Blessing Authority. Righteousness. Make this hard for him to clear.
Right.
And he's about out of tools. I think he's got us. Marrow Slicer. Hero Power. He just needs 2 more damage at that point.
Kane.
There's Kane. Surprised he didn't use Kane earlier. And see, this is the matchup where the Lightforge Blessings actually are better, because if at any of those times he would have had those minions he hit would have had lifesteal, then we would have been golden. Oh my gosh! On a loss, I lost 500 ranks. It's so bad right now. It's so bad right now. And it gets like that towards the end of the month, where your wins give you like 250 ranks, and your losses lose you about 500. That's why it's so hard to finish high. And if you just stop playing, your decay will take you down. Maybe not that far, but it'll take you down a lot. So Mage matchups, I'm about 50% in the Mage matchup. I'm actually overall with all my Paladin decks, I'm about 50%, a little over 50. But with this version, I'm 4-4. So I have the coin. So I want to keep Hybest Allura versus Mage.
Okay.
I think the rest can get thrown back. They usually don't start out too strong. If it's a tempo, they might get some minion pressure early. But, there's a Goody 2 Shields. We wanted to see that.
Yeah.
Goody 2 Shields, you don't want to look at it as at its spell burst value. It's a 3 mana 4/2 with Divine Shield, and that's good enough. That's so
we're just passing here, yeah.
Yeah, we'll pass here. Ping face, that's fine. We're gonna dude. He's gonna ping the dude. And this is where he has to have a choice. Do I play that 3 mana spell that develops me? Imprison Overseer?
Yeah. Okay.
And he left that up, so
Hand of Adal?
I think we Hand of Adal here.
Would there ever be a reason to think about coining and double handing of Adal?
The problem is we get rid of so many activators for Allura.
Okay.
The other option is the Goody 2 Shields. And because that's not going to come alive for a couple turns.
Yeah.
So there may be Goody 2 Shields may be the better play, because then he has 2 minions to deal with. Obviously, he can ping down the Silverhand Recruit, but then he has 2 mana to have to deal with the Goody 2 Shields. So I think Goody 2 Shields is the play here, actually.
Okay. And of course, go face.
Yeah. So I think what we'll see here is probably we might see ping and then double Ray of Frost on the Goody Two Shield, and if he does that, that's amazing for us. So things to think about. The High Abyss Allure. Okay, here's ping. Ray of Frost. Oh no.
Double Hand of Adal on both minions?
I'm thinking Hand of Adal on the Silverhand Recruit. It puts it outside the Observer range.
And then it re-pings the shield.
Yep. So Hand of Adal on there. And then, oh wow, that's actually really good. I'm thinking Libram of Hope on the Goody Two Shields, because that will challenge the Observer.
Okay, Libram of
the
Wisdom.
Observer can't.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Libram of Wisdom. Libram of Wisdom on the 4/2, so he can't just trade at any point. Obviously, he doesn't have rush.
Right.
And then next turn is probably going to be a High Bessalora coin, and then see what happens, and then we can Hand of Adal.
Okay.
Ping. Okay. He didn't have anything to do with the Goody Two Shields before. I'm hoping he doesn't now.
Ah, a Doomsayer. Thank you.
That gives us things to think about. So I wanted to High Bessalora this turn, and I think that changes things. I mean, obviously we can still High Bessalora, coin, and Hand of Adal on the 5/3.
I mean,
clear
if you really like this board, you could clear that with the Libram of Justice.
That's what I was thinking. We Aldor Attendant, Libram of Justice. We use our face to clear the 4/5, and then we just pop the Goody Two Shields into the 0/1 Doomsayer.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Yeah.
He didn't deal with the 5/3 two shields before. I don't think he either. He doesn't want to use those resources, which were making him make that decision, or he doesn't have it.
Right.
So
there's the
Defender, which he just threw.
Yeah.
This is fine. So we can Light Forge down to Kartut and then finish it off with the Aldor Attendant.
Yep.
And then play McGurgle and go face.
And go face. I like it.
I mean, we're not getting our High Bessalora down, but we're thinning our deck a little more, which is good. He's having trouble dealing with this 5/3. It's obviously at some kind of weird break point. He had a problem dealing with the Divine Shield before. Let's put another Divine Shield out. So give him interesting puzzles to figure out. He's trying to get value out of his cards as much as he can. He wanted to have the one Doomsayer clear the board. He wanted to have the Kartut deal with a couple minions, and he's not. So either he doesn't have the tools, or he's holding back. Which, if I was him, I'd want to hold back too. Maybe he's waiting for the big turn.
Second Kartut.
This is fine. Is this Turtle Mage? This is Turtle Mage. Oh, this is the APAC version of Turtle Mage.
Okay.
They run the depth charges.
So just clear Kartut Defender with the face again and the McGurgle. Use the 5/3 to clear the 0/5 and go face with the 4.
Yes. This is what I'm going to do, though. I'm gonna clear the Kartut. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to play High Bessalora. Question is, what do we Hand of Adal? I think we Hand of Adal the McGurgle.
Okay. So that you can't just ping it?
If we get Consecration, McGurgle can run into the depth charge.
Yeah.
We got first day of school. Okay, still good. Don't have any secrets, but we might get secrets from Lightforge Crusader later. The Subjugator.
Okay.
Okay, so that doesn't help us.
No.
So we run. Yeah, it does. So Subjugator on here, trade here, go face. Okay, sorry, I was dealing with rope.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
keeps our board strong. Obviously, he can ping down the Lightforge Zealot, but it leaves the Divine Shield on the McGurgle.
Right.
I was thinking I could get it down to 0 attack and just trade McGurgle, but this is fine too.
There's a blizzard.
This is good.
Okay.
This is good. That played around Blizzard about as good as we can. So this is kind of a tough spot.
Yeah, 'cause we don't have any secrets, so we can't take advantage of the blackjack stunner.
No, we don't have any secrets right now. I mean, obviously, Lightforge Crusader can change that. I think we just. I hate Hero Power Pass. We can Lightforge Zealot and then swing 4 to face now to get 4 damage in.
Uh huh.
How many? We'll only get 1 wisdom back to our hand, so that's fine. Yeah, I like that. I want to develop something. I was hoping we'd top deck the second Libram with Justice.
Right.
That would have been great. We just swing to face.
Okay.
We got the McGurgle Prime in our deck, which I wouldn't hate to draw this next turn. So now he has a clear board. He's used a lot of resources.
There's Polkelt.
Oh.
Do we play the Truth Seeker here?
I think we double Truth Seeker.
Oh, okay. Coin, double Truth Seeker.
Yeah. I mean, eventually we're going to get the Lightforge Crusader.
And then Libram of Wisdom.
Yeah, we'll leave him Wisdom, one of them. I'm going to hold his weapon swing, though.
Okay.
And I want as many Wisdoms as I can because we have Leandra in our hand, so we want to stack our... Because if we get a decent minion on the board, we might just be able to fill it up with Wisdoms and get lethal. If we can get one to stick.
There's Pilgrim.
Here comes the Tortolling games.
So he's... Okay.
So this is where it's gonna get tough. This matchup is really bad for Libram Paladin. Because he's gonna just keep freezing the board and we don't have over the top damage.
Right.
He trades that in, and now he freezes.
What if we make a really big minion and force him to have to like run everything into it? Even, I mean, I know he can still continue to.
That's kind of the only game plan. Because I've got an idea. I've got an idea how we can win this game. It's gonna be really weird, but yeah, let's double blessing this. Wisdom. I think we hold off on the Divine Pupil since it's free right now. And I'm just going to get this 4 damage to face.
Right.
Right now he's dealing with hand space issues where he's got a lot of Pilgrims in his hand.
Yep.
And he's got Escape Mana Sabers in his hand. He didn't copy any Lorekeeper Polkelts. That's an interesting thing.
Wow.
So he can get endless Maevs if he so chooses. But he doesn't have the board space to do it right now. We want to kill the Maev if we can.
We need to top deck a Consecrate.
Consecrate would be okay, but I'm going to save that braggart. I think we Devout Pupil
Okay.
and Lady Leadrin. We should get at least one Hand of a Doll, hopefully. We did. Hand of a Doll on it. And then I'm just going to spread out these Librams of Wisdom. So if we can get enough Libram of Wisdom, we can possibly McGurgle Prime into Charge Murlocs.
Okay.
You see where I'm going here?
Yeah.
And this next turn, our big True Seeker is going to awaken. Again, this is another matchup that the Librams of the Lightforge Blessings probably would be good for us, but he's going to copy the Maya Shadow Song. That's what I didn't want to have happen, but it is what it is. Post of Illusion. I'm not seeing this version with the Maiev. I like this version. That's very interesting. Because it takes up board space.
Right.
That fills his hand.
He's drawn one of his spells. He was only getting a choice of 2.
Yeah, so doesn't help us. I think we're out. Let's Hand of a Doll that. There's Consecration. Doesn't deal with everything, but it'll slow things down.
Yeah.
So let's Consecrate. Braggart. Hero Power. Split up there. I mean, he's going to Maiev it, most likely. Yeah, we lost because he Maevs and he can go face, so.
Yeah.
That's an interesting list. I've not seen the Maiev. I need to see if I can find that list. I really like this list. It might make me like the deck more. So my thought was we could get McGurgle Prime, but we wouldn't have a way to get all our wisdoms back because he's repeatedly. Is he just not going to kill us?
Maybe, which would be great. Maybe he's AFK and we can just kill him next turn.
He assumes we're going to concede. There's a lot of people that I've noticed the BMing on, and BMing stands for bad manners, has been really high in Legend. They're constantly emoting, or it's like they want you to concede.
Right.
If you don't concede, they're looking down on you. It's like, I'm not going to concede.
Ever.
I tend to not concede, especially when I'm in Legend, because I might luck out with a win somehow.
Yeah.
And I have on occasion, so.
Right.
Again, Paladin is good right now, but a lot of people are able to target, and Tortola Mage is, according to HS Replay, Tortola Mage is the worst win rate that Libram Paladin has. It's like 50.1% win rate, so it's right at 50%.
Yeah.
Because Tortola Mage beats itself most of the time. But if Tortola Mage doesn't beat itself, it pretty much beats you every time.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's going to about do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please feel free to send us an email at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't done so already. And for more details about our Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/heropower. And we'll
Join us.
Join us. Until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.